Rick has everything on. He's going to do this little thing where he comes and he's going to record me doing this clacker. And then it's all super official. Right on. So thank you so much for letting us come to your studio. You have a lot of cool pieces in here.
Thanks.
So I want to start. Shit, I think I'm caught. I'm caught on the artwork. Where? So this isn't like what you started out doing like professionally when you first started off in life, right? Like,
Right.
this is kind of like a pivot transformation for you, right?
Totally.
So take me back, kind of to the beginning before. Like, who was Lindsay Wanner before this?
Oh my
You know what I
gosh.
mean? Like, you're the STL artist.
You should have seen me. I was trying to figure out what was my purpose for the longest time. You would probably not believe it, but I was actually a bio pre-med major.
Oh, really?
At one point, I wanted to be an orthodontist because like braces literally changed my entire life.
Okay.
And so I went to SLU for a couple years, and I didn't even get to finish my bachelor's before I got pregnant with my second child.
Oh, okay.
So originally I got pregnant right out of high school. So it kind of made my plans change a little bit
That'll
there.
change it for sure.
So I was basically a stay-at-home mom right out of high school, and my husband just kind of worked his butt off making our little family work. And I started going to school. I had an older sister that was like always kind of made me want to be very competitive in life.
Okay.
So
How
like
much older?
she was like 19 months older than me.
Oh, so close enough to where it's like, yeah.
And she's gorgeous. And so I always had like this constant pressure to kind of like keep up with the, my game. And I think that kind of, once she got into the corporate world and she had this like amazing job and she was just killing it, I was like, man, I should probably be doing something like that. And like I said, I was just a stay-at-home mom at the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of dabbled in different things. I was like I said, a biology major at SLU. And then I got pregnant with my second son, and then I realized that I also love hair and makeup.
Yeah.
So, of course, I had to go to beauty school.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was all over the place.
Well, and then also, so I would imagine at the time, I mean, cosmetology school is what, like 9 months?
Yeah.
Or is it,
And
is that right? Is that the right, like,
Yeah.
or is it less?
No, it's something like that.
Yeah, something like that, right? So it's like the best option, right? When you're for real, like you're young, you're a mom, like you're trying to get into a career.
Yeah.
9 months of schooling.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And, it's funny. I got pregnant with my third in the middle of beauty school. So
Something about school. You just need to not be in school. Holy
Right.
shit.
But I always had the drive, so I kept going and going. And I think I learned so much from being in all those different positions, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I picked up on things from the, like the biology part of it, like just really kind of being into like zoned in, studying, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then in beauty school, like obviously the artsy part of it came out, like being creative. And then eventually I got a job offer from AT&T when I was in beauty school. So I dropped out. I'm a beauty school dropout. And went to AT&T, got my first corporate gig, and I felt like I was on the right path because I was kind of following in my sister's footsteps in that way.
Yeah.
And
You get that like approval from everybody else now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe this is what I need to be doing because
Yeah.
she did it so well. And so I worked at AT&T for 10 years, and I really excelled. I went from like having no like prior experience in that type of business to like being a manager in the yellow pages, and it was like, seriously, I learned so much, and I met so many cool people in
Yeah.
that experience.
Yeah. Did you enjoy working in the corporate space? It's a weird ecosystem, like the corporate world. Have you seen that movie Office Space?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, right. I love that movie. But it's so true. Like there's usually somebody like those characters in every office.
It is like definitely like that. And it was a really kind of pivotal time for me because I went from kind of not really having my sense of like identity or really like feeling like my purpose was met or fulfilled to all of a sudden being in a place where I was like excelling. I was making like great money, and I was surrounded by people that were like my age and just like killing it. Like
Yeah.
people were in their 20s and driving like brand new Mercedes, and people kind of just had that taste of like success and
Yeah.
how to really kind of make it big in life with, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, when you're killing it and everybody else is killing it, like that's pretty motivating. That feels
Yeah.
good for sure.
Yeah.
Like that makes you want to like be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everything was going really well until, like I said, it was the Yellow Pages. That was kind of a dying industry, and
Right.
I knew it was coming, but I didn't really know how to prepare for that moment. Probably the last year that I worked there, I started doing art on the side,
Okay.
and I'll tell you kind of how that started. But it was like a side hustle, and then the next thing you know, the company said we're letting go of your entire department.
How
And
much notice did you guys have?
like I think it was like 60 days.
Okay.
And there were people that had been there for like 30, 40 years,
Right. Like
and it
that's
was
all I
just
knew.
done. Like, I mean, there wasn't like any other options available to us. They didn't really like give us a, I don't know what it's called when you leave a company and they pay
Like a
you.
pension, not a pension, but a Rick. What's that word?
Starts with an S.
Severance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like that. It was just kind of like we're dumping you.
That
And,
sucks. That's the thing, right? Because I worked at Express Scripts for a long time here in St. Louis, and I mean they're a huge, corporate company. I went and got like my master's in healthcare administration, and I did all that, and I was killing it. I was like a project manager, and then like I just got let go, and it changed my whole paradigm. And I realized you can be extremely dedicated, excuse me, to these companies, but at the end of the day, they're still a corporation, and the bottom line matters, and you're just a number in the system, and it's so unfortunate, but
Definitely.
it's the truth.
That is dead on. I literally only can look back at it in the way of like what I've gained from there. Like
Right.
I seriously think like I mean I wouldn't be where I am right now without like that kind of like back knowledge from that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was advertising and marketing and branding and creating ads and how to talk to people and how to.
Yeah, team building and.
And towards the end of it, it was all about customer experience, which I know Andy talks about a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, my title was customer experience manager for a long time.
Oh.
So I really kind of had a good feel for that when I
Yeah.
was there. What we dealt with was people that were unhappy. They would call in. We would take inbound customer service calls.
Usually
And
complaints.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
always
yeah.
complain.
Yeah, so they're all escalations. You gotta
Yeah,
like.
they don't call to say, "Hey, man, I like what y'all
You
are
guys are
doing."
doing great. I love you all so much. That's always someone real pissed off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. I worked on like in a call center for a little over 3 years, and it can be pretty brutal. Like people will share some crazy shit over the phone when they can't see you.
There was an attorney out in Texas that was one of my clients, and he kind of tormented me a little bit. Like I seriously feel traumatized about the customer experience because he was so irate about it.
Oh, really?
And there's kind of a stigma in the Yellow Pages industry that attorneys can be kind of difficult customers, but
I can see that, right? Oh, man.
they're also big spenders with advertising. But man, he really let me have it, and I was kind of traumatized from that.
I've noticed people, just from the different people I've talked to around the country, people in the Northeast in general are just a little bit more abrasive on the phone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. They're like, what the fuck do you want? Like,
Yeah.
tell me what you want, spit it out. Let's
I
go,
wouldn't
let's
take
go.
that market. I'm like, nope.
It's a
not
tough
doing
one.
it.
It's a tough one. So the Yellow Pages are going away. You've been doing some side art. Now, have you been an artist like all growing up, or was that kind of something you picked up later in life? Or
I used to draw, but I never really thought it was like anything special. It was just kind of like, draw a picture of your, like a self-portrait or something, and it was fun for me. But I never thought like, oh, I'm like really talented or something. I still don't think that, but I did draw, and I let it go for a while because obviously you have kids and you're doing other things, and
right, it doesn't seem like a priority.
yeah, and like as cheesy as this sounds, one of my friends like made a post on Facebook, and I remember it as clear as day. It was like right before 2014 New Year's, and she was just saying to people like, I hope that you create something in the new year, and like just this lovey-dovey post about like creating stuff. And for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm gonna start drawing again.
Oh, so that sparked it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And my husband, like, he would make fun of me, like, why are you drawing in a sketchbook, like, in bed? What are you doing? And I don't know, it was just kind of fulfilling for me. And And then the next thing you know, people were asking me for like drawings of things. Like they're like, "I'll give you like $40 if you draw a tattoo for me." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay." And it literally like just propelled in that way.
It's kind of snowballed, just one little commission to the next.
Mhm.
Man, if I could draw, the thing is, I feel like almost, I don't know. I feel like there is talent there for sure. But I feel like it's a skill that if you
Yeah,
put in enough time, you can just get good
I think
at
so.
different artistic things. So sometimes I'm like, man, you should just like quit being an asshole and just like dedicate time to do it. And I would totally be a tattoo artist. Have you thought about?
Really?
Oh man, it'd be.
I couldn't hurt people.
I,
Like if people were like squirming from me stabbing them with a needle, I don't think
yeah.
it would work.
But some artists have like really soft hands, so I would just try to have like a soft hand so I
that
don't
does
fuck
not
people
matter.
up. It still hurts. It's true. It hurts. It hurts. They just need to just deal. They know what they're getting into, but it's just like such a cool art. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure there, man. Whole lot of pressure. You don't want to fuck up someone's body.
Well, you know it's funny. My son actually thought about being a tattoo artist before, and so when I was getting my sleeve done, I asked the guy like, "What do you do to get into this?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "You basically have to get like covered in tattoos and be like the coffee maid around."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want my son to just like go in there and get like neck tattoos and.
I don't know about all that, but the apprenticeship part would suck.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're just like a gopher. You gotta go do everything.
Yeah.
That'd be
So.
rough. That'd be rough. But it'd be a cool skill to have. I mean, I know it can be pretty hard on the body being hunched over. Is that anything you ever deal with, like where you're working on a piece and it's just like repetitive motions, or like
That's why I got this tall thing here.
try to keep it ergonomic?
Yeah. I used to work on just like a low regular table and a regular chair, and
That's
I
a good
actually
move.
spent some money this year on a little upgrade in my studio.
Oh, nice. So you started out just all hand drawings, paintings. Like, how did that evolution work?
Yeah,
Because
so-
I mean, obviously, you're in a whole different place than where you started. than
Yeah.
where you started.
Yeah, it doesn't go from like zero to that. I started out just drawing, and then I was looking on Pinterest and saw like just this picture of an American flag with baseball bats and baseballs, and people who know me have seen them a million times now because I make them. But I just saw this picture. It didn't have instructions or anything, but I'm like, man, that's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
my husband's in construction, and we have like a million saws and a bunch of wood glue and
All the
stuff. So I'm
tools.
like, let's just try to make one of these. And I bought a bunch of baseball bats, which are incredibly expensive, and started cutting them in half.
Yeah.
And we just played around with it, and we just like made one of them. And all I did was post it on my Facebook, and everybody wanted one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, I was like the flag lady.
Flags are where it's at, especially here where we are here in the Midwest.
I
Like,
mean, baseball in America, there's a pretty big audience.
it's a pretty big audience here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then like we're about to get some other sports teams that will, I imagine all the popular things in the city, like does that like help you as far as like inspiration or things to, I mean like the blues, obviously I'm sure you probably
Yeah.
got a shit ton of
I
requests
mean,
for blues
the
things.
genres that I'm working with, sports, music, pop culture, I mean, it's just
this
limitless.
infinite, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's always someone out there who's like a diehard fan of like Muhammad Ali. or-
Yeah, that's such a sick piece, dude. What did you use for that?
That's punching bags.
Punching bags, that's right.
So you can see the Everlast on like the background.
Yeah, I see that. So even so like the gold stripes, that's also punching
I
bag
use
material?
wood.
That's
on
wood,
that,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
to give it like a 3D element to it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Damn. So the flags were the start,
Yeah,
and
and then
then yeah, where did that
So,
go
like,
to next?
And I still was just trying to find my place. Like I didn't know if I'm gonna be Lindsay the Flag Lady. I didn't know if I liked that.
Yeah,
And it still, like I said, wasn't even my idea. I just saw a picture of a flag and made one, and it wasn't even intended to be a business. So
yeah,
once I realized that it was picking up, I'm like, okay, I'm making these flags, but I still don't really feel fulfilled because it's not like I made this amazing creation.
yeah. It's kind of like taking orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing over and over. So I started doing like pet paintings. And I did one for Sal Frisella actually.
Oh, did you?
One of the like first form guys reached out to me
Yes.
and hired me to make a painting of his dog who passed.
Did he post? I think he shared that
Yeah.
post pretty recently.
Yeah, it was like a
A
memory.
memory. Yeah, that's a really good piece.
Yeah, it was fun for me because I'm like, okay, there's other things I can do, and these kind of things are really meaningful to people. If
Hmm.
it's like a memorial, like, or it's more personal. It's the guy's dog.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, cool, I can start doing these, and I did like pet paintings for a while. And then I realized that people can be really picky when it's their dog, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about leaving a job where you're like, okay, I have my own freedom now. This is my thing.
Yeah.
And then you start getting orders from customers, and then they're very particular, and you're like, wait, I still feel like I'm working for someone.
Right. Yeah. It's like just pay me for my artistic
Yeah.
eye. Like, what am I doing?
But it's not going to start out like with, like that right away.
Right. You got to pay your dues type of deal.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of getting to the point where I can make things that I like and people buy it, which is like,
Yeah. Like that's where the money
yeah,
is.
I mean, it feels
Figurative
good
and literally.
because that's what artists are probably thinking is I'm going to make this, but does anyone want it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of be. I mean, you make this huge transition, right? Now you're trying to build your own personal brand, like in this art space. Is there like a time there where you're trying to figure out like, like what your voice is, who you are, like in this
Oh,
art world?
absolutely. I still don't feel like I've figured it out. I mean, I my whole thing right now, well, my whole thing has been that I want to make things that other people aren't making or that you can't buy somewhere else. And so I struggle with being inspired by things but not repeating things that other people have done. So like I'll take things that I see, like there are artists who make things out of vinyl records, but usually they'll take like the black part of the record and
Mm-hmm.
make like a silhouette type thing.
Okay.
And so I reversed it and made like the black as the background and then made the like
Right. That.
portrait part of it out of the colored.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's like the foundational background, and everything pops off of
Yeah.
that.
So I take a lot of pride in knowing that like what I'm doing is different. And then like that skateboard flag that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing that. I just like was playing around with materials because of the flag and the
Yeah.
baseball bats. And I'm like, I need to have something that's just mine, that like no one
Right.
else is doing. And I got some old skateboards. They were busted up, broken. They were like, people were throwing them away. And I'm like, I will buy them from you. And cut them up and made the stripes. And
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. Maybe I could be making it up. Are there? You could probably make a big one where the stripes are like actual decks. Probably be a pretty expensive piece. Have you seen that? I don't know. Am I just making that up?
have I seen it?
Yeah, I
No.
don't know. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be gigantic.
It'd be fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
Like a whole, you have like 6 or 7
Put it on the
decks.
side of your house.
Yeah, yeah. You get the right. I don't know, man. The right person might buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get Tony Hawk out there. He might like it.
Yeah, I'll have a studio big enough eventually.
Yeah, you'll get there for sure. What were we talking about? You were saying something about the pieces, how you were doing your art, your technique. I know what I wanted to ask you. In the beginning when you're just doing the paintings, and then now your husband brings over uh the materials to help you start doing. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, Lindsay. The flags.
Mhm.
There's the word. You're doing the flags, and then now we're here. How did you get hooked up with some of these like these bigger pieces or these bigger people like the Andy Frisella or the Oscar De La Hoyas? Like, because now, I mean, you've obviously like built this over time. How long has it been since the transition from AT&T into like full-time art?
I think it was like 2014.
2014, so it's been 5 years now, right?
Since I started drawing. Yeah.
Since you started drawing, even
Yeah.
like that's holy shit. Some people might say that's super fast, but
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like 5 years is kind of listening to like Andy's show, right? He's always talking like 5 to 10 years is usually
Yeah.
kind of when shit's like
You got to eat shit for a while.
like taking off, and like now you're at that 5 year mark, and like you're doing these really cool ass pieces. Like, did you see yourself kind of ever like? Did you see it blowing up to this
No.
magnitude? You know what I mean?
No.
Starting where you started.
No, like at first I was just making, when I made my first vinyl piece, it
Yeah.
was Prince. And and it was priced at I think like $500. And my friend who's an artist told me I was crazy. He's like, "Don't sell this for any less than 2,000." And I'm like, "You are crazy. That is like way too much money." And
Yeah.
I was just thinking out of my own pocket, you know, like because I didn't spend money on art like that.
Right.
And I didn't think anyone else would. And so I was like, priced it for 500, and it sold. And then the next thing you know, like people see it and they know like what I do, and they're like, "Oh, I want that, but can you make it of Marilyn Monroe or of whoever their, you know, major
Yeah.
celebrity crush is?" And I ended up having a waiting list of like 20 orders at like $500, and I thought it was like, this is
Like that's
awesome.
great, right?
And then I realized that that might be time to raise your prices.
Right.
But I wasn't comfortable with that because I felt like, you know, I was still just doing it because I enjoyed it. I didn't want to like rip people off and all that. Really took a while for me to kind of get that pricing down. But it was almost like it was really good practice for me, if I'm allowed to say that. I feel like I practiced on my earlier pieces
Yeah.
because I was just kind of learning the technique and learning the materials and like making my mistakes and
Yeah.
trying new paints and trying new glues and all this stuff. And from that, I was able to evolve it into like a giant, like 8 foot by 4 foot piece that goes for $10,000. And like back then, I would have
Yeah.
never thought I would charge a customer
Like it
$10,000.
doesn't even sound like a real thing.
And it hasn't happened just once. So I'm kind of like, you know, in awe of where I'm
Yeah.
at this point, and I still only feel like I've just started.
For sure. Well, like you've been mastering the craft, right? And then like developing your own style. And then now it's like now you're kind of found like that niche, kind of where you feel the most comfortable. And then it's just like blowing that up
Yeah.
now. Yeah. That's super cool. So you're working on that big birthday piece.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you're kind of like working in your head that you're thinking about?
So
'Cause I know you're trying to diversify right now,
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to just do music stuff, even though I could go on forever just doing music.
A million fucking artists.
And even if you run out of like individual, you could just start putting people together.
Put them together. Yeah, you could do bands. You could do. There's so many different
know,
things
like,
to do.
I could just-
Would that just get boring though?
Yeah, so what I just came across something on Facebook. One of my Facebook friends' name's Ryan Fiterman or Fitterman, I think, and he's out of Houston, and he
Okay.
has like a sports group, and he's doing sports conventions. He just brought in Floyd Mayweather for a signing event. Snoop Dogg was on for a signing
nice.
event, and I've done like art pieces for signing events before. Like basically, if you look ahead far enough,
Yeah.
see someone's coming in, you can make a piece and go get it signed. And I've done it like once or twice, and it's such a cool experience. Like my dad and my husband and my kids came with me once, but we were walking through like this convention where there's like all these celebrities doing signings and carrying the piece, and like it's almost like this surreal celebrity moment. People are just like, "Do you see that?" and I don't know, it makes for a really cool experience when it gets autographed. And
Yeah.
you know, like having a piece of music memorabilia or sports memorabilia that's actually like autographed by the person is pretty cool.
That is cool.
And there's this convention coming up, and I just told this totally long story just to tell you this.
Oh, I love it.
But I saw the lineup on there, which is like crazy. They have all the Sandlot crew, Allen Iverson, Nolan Ryan. So right now I'm scrambling to do like a Nolan Ryan piece. Carmen Electra's gonna be there.
Oh
And
shit! Yeah, get them all in.
I'm like, my husband loves her. I have to. So
Hey, I can dig it. Is that like the good? Is that like a good strategy to kind of grow the following and the brand awareness?
I feel like it is. I mean, I can't do that all year long, but I feel like that will definitely get my 2020 off to a good start.
Yeah.
Like in the first month, like do a Nolan Ryan and Carmen Electra piece, get photo ops and autographs, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good for marketing. It's good for people to see like kind of what I'm doing, where I'm going, and then I just keep raising my bar and see who else I can meet. And
The Rock is the move.
yeah,
Do a piece of The Rock, and like I feel like if one celebrity just like reshares a good art piece, that can change an artist's life.
yeah, you're not the first person to say that.
I'm sure I'm not.
I don't know if I'm ready. Like I want it to be like so good.
You're ready. You're ready. They're all so
If it's
good.
The Rock, it has to be like made out of rocks or something.
What would you make that out of? Holy shit. You could, I don't know, maybe some Under Armour stuff. He does a lot of shit with Under Armour.
Yeah. I did one of him like way earlier on out of punching bags, and it was pretty cool, but it was
That'd be
still
cool.
very simple compared to like
Yeah,
where I'm at.
that'd be a good one. Kevin Hart's big ass, big headed ass.
Little ass.
Little ass. They did you see that meme where it was like they switched their heads and it was
And he
like
was holding them.
he was like holding them. Or no, it was I think it was just them their regular selves, but it was just like them switched as if The Rock was small and Kevin Hart
Oh
was
my God.
was big. It was the
They're
funniest.
so stupid. It's
They're so
hilarious.
funny. Yeah, but yeah, those would be some big ones. Have you seen that artist on Instagram who makes the stuff out of Rubik's cubes?
Mm-mm.
Man, I feel like I should pull that up for you. Is the coolest fucking thing.
That sounds cool.
I don't know. Who are you? Like, do you follow any artists like on?
Oh yeah.
Like, who are some of your people?
There's this guy named Jason Skeldon out of Florida, and he does like pop art like I do. So I kind of like to follow people who are doing like at least the same genre. So
Yeah.
and he's like also into fashion, so you can follow for his outfits or
He's a twofer. You're getting it either way. I don't know how I'm gonna find this. It's probably not the move to even find it. This is what you're here for, Rick. You're supposed to find. No, I'm just busting his balls. But damn, who is it? Where's he at? We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. I might not find it. Some people just share too much shit. I wish I could hire somebody to run my social media.
I know.
Is that kind of like is social media? I mean, is that like kind of why artists can do what they do now? Because I feel like we're in a time where, I mean, because of social media, like you can essentially build your own brand and create a business with little overhead or like almost out of nowhere, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, if I was just in my garage painting all day and making stuff and didn't have social media, it would be full of art.
Yeah.
But like I've been like seriously blessed with social media, you can post a progress picture
Yeah.
of like halfway done. As what I'll do. I'll be like, I'm working on this, because people will say you got to keep the studio flow going, and I'll put a picture of like, even though it looks weird right now, it's not done yet,
Yeah.
but it's coming and it's this, and people will be like, I'll buy it. What do I click on? How
People
do I buy
love it,
this?
yeah.
And I sell things before they're done, and to me that's crazy. I wouldn't trust someone enough to do that, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. It's like where people are looking for more like original shit. Like nobody wants just the cookie cutter stuff that
Right.
you know that they're making a dime a dozen in some factory somewhere. Like people want artisanal, they want
Yeah.
like handcrafted, like out of things that are unique,
Yeah.
and that's what you're providing.
I mean, like, I go to like Home Goods and home places all the time, just constantly, and I've never once seen a piece of art, and that is not me being a snob. I'm very, I don't know, like I don't see things that jump out to me, because it looks like something everyone else has.
Right.
So I think maybe, you know how like a lot of entrepreneur speakers and stuff will say like, you need to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And I was always like, what problem does art solve, you know? But
Yeah.
one of the things is that you want something that's just like cool and
Just
different.
makes you
and
feel good to look at it.
yeah, where can I get something that's like, you know, I like to look at every day, or that has a story, you know?
Right.
And I think that's really what it provides is, I mean, you can't find that in a store.
No,
You hang
not
that
at
up
all.
and people will walk in your office and just be like, dude, what? Tell me about this, please.
Yeah, I mean that's just a huge conversation piece. Like nobody else has that, so like the owner can feel like a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Just like how you feel whenever you like just to own it,
Mhm.
right? When you know nobody else has that piece,
Yeah.
it probably feels even better when you know nobody else is like making those pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see yourself shipping these?
Oh,
Like,
I do all the
all
time.
over, like big commission pieces, like all over. Are you
Yeah.
doing that now?
Yeah. So the Oscar De La Hoya piece I did for him was, like I said, 8 feet, 4 feet,
Yeah.
and went to Los Angeles.
Okay. Do you only ship in the U.S. or do you ship outside of the
So
U.S.? I guess
far
that's
I
kind of what I
have.
meant.
I mean, I haven't used any overseas shippers yet, but
Yeah, it's the key word there.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so you're shipping all over the place, huh?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm sorry, I'm just at awe and like looking at all these pieces. I like that Jimi Hendrix piece.
Thanks.
It's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
So who have been some of like your inspirations though? I know I kind of asked you who do you follow, but like have you kind of had any inspirations that have kind of, you know, influenced your art along the way? I know in the beginning there's
Yeah.
a
So
lot of young artists.
there's an artist named Greg Frederick who does like vinyl art, but like I said, he does like that silhouette
Yeah,
kind of. But I mean, that was a big part of me, even just thinking of the idea to
yeah,
use vinyl. I did like the upcycling and recycling elements since I had the baseball bat flags and stuff. I was kind of like already moving towards what could be like my thing that's like using materials because I feel like everyone in the world has seen a painting on canvas. That's not what I want to do.
right.
So like what could I make that is just like different? And so I took kind of like the vinyl part from him. And then like I said, Jason Skeldon, I love his stuff. He's very creative, like um, with like just taking the original like reference photo and then adding your own things. And that's kind of what I'm getting into doing. The way that I make like the 3D layers and stuff, like I could just make a portrait by itself and the piece is just kind of like enough of a statement. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I started out doing. And so I kept going with it or whatever, but it took me a while to realize that like the art that I wanted to make would be something that actually like transformed like an original reference photo by adding like different visual elements or different colors or different things that bring it out. Like on the Joker, I made him be the letter O so that you have like you're taken to a different place. It's not just the picture itself.
Right.
And I'm really getting into that. I feel like my mindset behind it is that like if I were to make like a print of it or something, like if the customer was going to see it, I want them to recognize it as my work
Mm-hmm.
or that it was interesting enough to like make like want a print of it or something like that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so you kind of started the podcast to kind of help fuel the brand. Is that how's
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's kind of it's a hard segue. That was a shitty segue.
I'm like, okay, we'll go there.
That was a shitty segue. I know. I tried, but we'll just address the elephant in the room. How bad
Yes.
that was.
No, but yeah, like I said, I went to that Arte conference.
Yeah.
And it was all about branding and how you can take your whatever business you have, you can escalate it or progress by branding yourself. And that includes things like starting a podcast. And
Yeah.
I would have been like, what? Why do I need a podcast? But
Yeah.
it makes sense when you think of it like I actually learned about Andy from his podcast.
Yeah.
But that's not his like thing. He has a company where he sells products
Yeah.
but they don't even talk about it like
He
that.
never talks about. That's how I met him. I used to work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that in your podcast. So basically, I was just kind of excited about this idea of like people will buy from you if they like you, and
Yeah.
the more ways that you can show them like you have to put yourself out there for them to.
Yeah. Isn't that a hard thing to do? It feels weird, like when you start putting yourself out there and just kind of being just like transparent and like
Dude.
authentically you.
Like talk about imposter syndrome. I'm thinking like why do people even care or want to know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's if they're listening, they're interested for whatever reason it might be.
Right.
And that's enough for people to get to know you, even if they can't see you in person.
Yeah.
And ultimately, people just be like, dude, I really like that.
Right.
And she's a good person. And they end up supporting you or feeling like they, like, how can I repay you or how can I support you?
Yeah.
And it creates that like brand loyalty. And when I figured that out, it was like so exciting. And so I just kind of turned to making a podcast and just kind of sharing the business tips and tricks that had helped me
Right.
from what I've learned in school and what I've learned in business. And I've gotten a huge response from it. Even people in my family that I haven't been like really connected with over the years will just be like, I listen to every episode. And like they get to know me that way too.
Right.
It's
It's a
cool.
little surprising, right? It's like because you don't know who's watching until like when you put out something like a podcast and they'll talk to you about it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I have been watching you. It's like, oh shit, that's cool.
And then let me tell you, the next time you show up in person and you see them, they feel like all caught up.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
That's the weirdest feeling when people like know you, because like in a way they do know you. If like they're listening to you and you're kind of sharing things about like what's current in your life or lessons, like in a way they're getting to know you for sure, but but you don't know them. I could only imagine like on a grander scale, like a Joe Rogan or an Andy or something, like celebrity status would be hard.
Yeah, it'd be really weird.
Yeah, I always said I want to be rich. I don't want to be famous.
Yeah, you don't get to choose.
You don't think so?
Oh,
I
well,
don't think you get to choose fame.
I mean, you're already putting yourself out there with this.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it. This is what it is.
There's no turning back.
There is no turning back, but I don't think I'll be famous. Although, have you ever been like recognized in like the grocery store or something? Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
I've had a couple people like stop me at the grocery store and like
And call you by your Instagram handle. Well, yours is your name.
it is.
But they'll be like, STL artist.
It's like, oh God, that's so. I appreciate it. I really do. It's so nice, and it's just, I guess, to that imposter syndrome thing. It's just like, I'm just me.
Yeah.
You feel like I'm just me.
All the time.
I don't feel super special.
Yeah.
And I think with like social media, people can like our imagination runs wild, and you start like filling these things in. Like you're producing like these amazing pieces of art, and I bet in a lot of people's minds, like you probably are doing it out of this huge grand studio, and you know what I mean. Like you just start filling in these pieces because you don't know it. Do you ever do that with people? Like whenever you see them online, I feel like I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. That's interesting. Yeah, and here I am in my garage. And my mom even came in here in person, and she's like, "This is the one that's on all your pictures. It doesn't look very big." And
I think that's the beauty. Like you can, for me, that's like one of the from like a business standpoint, it's super motivating to know how much can be accomplished out of such a little space.
Yeah. I mean, I just really recently started getting into like bigger pieces. Like that is taking up quite a bit of space.
Yeah, how big is that?
That
Do you know?
is 6 feet wide, I believe.
Yeah, that's good size.
But so I'll get to the point where I need bigger, like a bigger studio. But for now, this works for me. And
Right.
and I'm happy with it. It used to be a carport. My husband just closed it in and made it my place.
It's a good move. It's probably super fucking handy. Your husband can like build shit.
You have no idea. Like the first baseball flag we made, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I probably would have lost my fingers.
Yeah.
He's always like, Lindsay, no power tools. But
Are you clumsy?
no, I
No.
just I'm like, I don't want to lose my fingers.
I don't. Yeah, I
Because
understand.
then there goes my money.
That's all
So.
bad. Yeah, well, my girlfriend and I, we just bought a house and we've been like remodeling it. And I'm not a carpenter, but I'm learning a lot along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I'm doing stuff, I'm like, I don't want to lose a finger. Or I'm like, don't drop that on your toe. Or like,
Oh my gosh.
there's a lot of mistakes to be had around the house
Yeah.
or around power tools.
Yeah, it happens.
It definitely, yes, because I mean you're using saws and everything.
Yeah.
Is that the saw that you use for like for the
That's a
the
bandsaw.
records,
That's to
or,
cut
like-
baseballs in half.
okay?
This,
Like how do you cut the records?
this is how I cut records. This,
Does that heat up?
yeah.
Oh,
And it moves like this slow.
so it's super patient. You have a steady hand.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, you could probably be a surgeon.
No, I can't hurt people. I told you.
They're
I can't cut
asleep.
through
They don't
skin.
feel anything.
Ew.
But you have like the steady hand to do it. You have a steady hand. Like if you didn't want to hurt people, you
Right.
probably could be a tattoo artist.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't imagine penetrating someone's skin. That's
I mean,
just
you
not
get
my thing.
tattoos.
I know. I close my eyes.
You'll just take the pain.
Do what?
You just take the pain. Just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
just don't want to dish it out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I did fighting for a really long time, so I was all about dishing it out. I'd much rather dish it than get
I
it.
bet. I want to see some of your videos.
Of fighting?
Do you have them on YouTube?
Yeah, there is some on YouTube.
Cool.
I gotta pull like a good one. I'm always like, I'll watch those old ones. I'm like, God, I sucked so bad. Like, even if I win, I'm just like, God, you're just so terrible. Nobody should ever watch that.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to.
I know. Well, as long as I win, I don't think there are any ones of me losing up there, because I've definitely lost. But you can't let people see that.
Yeah.
Oh man, are there any pieces that like you're doing it and you're just like, I don't like, you just bail, like
Dude.
even after like doing it for a while, you're just like,
I did a Molina piece and threw it in the trash.
oh, for real?
I don't know. I was just not feeling it, and I had spent a lot of time on it. I also did a Jordan piece when I first started working with basketball leather, and made the whole portrait out of this basketball leather, and then come to find out that it curls up on the edges.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't even sell it. It was like, dude. So like, but that's all of part of the learning process.
It's all
And
a
so then I
process.
got to where I would even staple, like the edges underneath the part, like the top piece, so that you couldn't see it, but at least it would hold that down flat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've totally tossed stuff before.
What's been some of the most like difficult material to work with?
Baseball cards. I just did one out of baseball cards. It was really hard because this customer wanted me to make a picture of her husband out of baseball cards, and I was like, cool, like I'm up for any challenge, you know.
Okay.
And started doing it and realized that I'm cutting up pieces like this small for, you know, like the picture, and you
Yeah.
have to find the right shades of color to make the like dimension of, because I didn't paint on them. I used the colors from the cards,
To
and
create that depth.
that was like really time consuming, and I'm like, it turned out beautifully, but I didn't want to do that again.
Yeah. I'm always so interested how that whole process unfolds, because I mean, from, you know, like right on it, it's like these small little pieces and these different shades like on the card, and then you get to the, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
10-foot view, and it's like, now there's this
Yeah.
picture.
That's what most of my stuff, you have to step back. Like you can
Yeah.
look at it up close and it's just, there's like so much going on. You
Right.
can see the vinyl records, you can see the paint, and on this one you can even see that the paint didn't cover the vinyl very well. That was one of like my older pieces, and I mean, to cover black vinyl you have to like,
Probably cake it on there.
yeah, use
Yeah.
good paint, and yellow is really hard to cover. I need to touch that up, but like I said, you learn as you go.
Nobody notices that but you, though. I mean, I see what you're seeing now that you say something,
Yeah.
but I would never notice it if you didn't say anything.
But to me, when something doesn't sell over time, I start looking at it like, maybe I need to touch up paint. Maybe I need to do this and that. One time I said, I think I'm going to take a saw to this piece. And people on Instagram were like, girl, do not touch that.
Don't do that. What if you like took a piece and like sawed it in half and then like made it like two pieces to make the one?
That'd be
You know
awesome.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
I should do that.
that'd be sick. That'd be sick. I'm kind of creative. I'm not. The execution is not there, but I can think of some shit.
No, that's fun. I like to add those little different elements like that.
Do you? Excuse me. Do you have any like material that's like that you haven't worked with that's like kind of in the works, or do you want to share? I don't want to like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh man, I got this in the bag and I'm about to pull out. I mean,
I have a bunch of old broken drumsticks people gave to me,
Oh.
and I have been trying to figure out what to do with them. And I really want to make like a Travis Barker.
yeah. So that's the name that came to mind.
Yeah, or a lot of people said Neil Peart.
I don't know who that
It was
is.
like the Rush drummer.
Oh, okay.
And but it's hard to make a face out of it, but somehow I could work it into the background. So I'm determined to figure that out.
Yeah.
I also have drum heads that I've yet to use.
I see golf stuff over there. Have you made a golf piece?
No, I want to do Tiger Woods. A lot of
Oh.
people have asked about that.
Tiger'd be good. He's epic.
Yeah,
There's just too many people to not do.
I know.
Imagine, right? So I mean, splitting time with that, I'm gonna bring us back to the podcast for
Sure.
a second. Like, so are you gonna like? I mean, is the focus? Are you gonna start trying to build that platform more, or I'm just curious.
Yeah, so at this point, I feel like moving forward, I would like to keep focusing on the like big commission pieces for celebrities.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm going. I could all day long make things that I think are cool and just
Right.
hope that people buy them.
Yeah.
But what's more fulfilling is that it gets in front of people that can see what I do and go, oh, cool, can you make whatever for me?
Yeah.
And I mean, I had this strategy that I learned from like a social media management company
Yeah.
where they said like message like 10 celebrities on Instagram a day. Just
Oh,
like
really?
a little kind of copy paste thing that says like, hey, I'm Lindsay. I make art for athletes and musicians in like a way that you've never seen before is literally like the words that I use. And it's just a little bit enough to where if they see it, they might be interested if they're just
Yeah.
laying in bed or something, like to go look and see. And
Yeah.
you would not believe the people that I get into conversations with.
Really?
Like just the other night, Antonio Brown wrote me back. He's like, what do you make?
What?
I know. And I know he's going through some stuff in the news.
Still.
But I was like, okay.
I can dig it.
And that's how the Oscar de la Hoya piece happened. And that's how the Pool Holes piece is happening. And I don't know, it's pretty exciting. So I try to send out messages like that and just hope that I get in front of the right people.
What if you get a Snoop piece?
A
A
what?
Snoop Dogg piece?
Dude, if I would have known about that event, I would have like did whatever I could do to get something done and go like just smoke weed with him. And
Holy shit, that'd be the dopest thing.
he was like smoking while he was signing. He was just like
Yeah, yeah. You probably just get a contact high just hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just gotta make it out of cannabis leaves.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing out of. It's gonna decay. It's okay.
Or like rolling papers or
Oh,
something.
that'd be a cool one. That'd be cool. Get some like raw rolling papers. I wonder if he has his own brand. I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know, but that'd be a pretty cool one. Shit, Lindsay.
Have we covered everything?
I don't know. Have we covered everything? We're just shooting the shit.
I know,
I'm
right?
just so at all this. I know I just keep firing off questions at you because that's what I'm supposed to do. So hey, did you do 75 hard?
I failed.
Did you?
I started and it worked for me for a while, and I just didn't go with it, or I didn't continue. I think it was alcohol that made me, fall off track.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's
a
not that
hard
I
one.
can't do it, not that I won't do it, but I just, it's like quitting smoking or something. You have to be the one that decides to do
You
it.
have to be committed to it.
Yeah.
I tried it for I did like 2 or 3 times. I started it and I failed. Like 2 days in, I'm just like, I don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I'm just like, man, I just got to do it. So I finally did it. And for me, the biggest thing was just like putting in like a good morning routine.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing for me because like I'd wake up and I'd go for a walk outside and I'd start on water and I would read and I take my picture. So like that's most of the list kind of.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of about starting a good like morning routine
That
for
has
myself.
to make a difference because I always had to wait till the evening. I felt like when my kids go to school at
Yeah.
like 7 a.m. or something,
Yeah.
and if I don't like get in here and get my work done, they get home and my day is shot because I feel like I haven't got my work in.
Yeah.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
So if I would wait until the evening, then if dinner comes up or a basketball practice, then it's just like,
Yeah. You're just drained.
Yeah.
You're just drained. So it actually makes me think of a question. What do you think is the most valuable resource that we have
all of us as humans,
as humans? What's our most valuable resource?
each other.
Each other? Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Most people say like time or something. Like whenever I heard that question, I was like time. Like time's like the most kind of like valuable resource that we have. And then somebody posed like a different perspective for me, and he said it is like your mental energy. And I thought of that because what you just said. It's like, we all have 24 hours in a day. But if you don't have like the mental energy to get shit done,
Yeah.
then like what does it matter how much time you have?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say time. I was trying to set you up. But that's a good one.
Yeah.
Each other. Yeah.
I was looking at
we
it
need
way
each other.
more whole than that. Just
were.
humanity
You
in
were.
general.
That's a good one. We do need each other. Community is so important.
Yep.
So damn important. I had a question for you. You have what the fuck you were saying? You said your kids leave. Oh, I know. I was gonna ask you. Do you have a morning routine, or do you have? I mean, you said like this is the non-negotiable, like working in the studio.
Well,
like,
only because I know that if I were to like spend the morning working out and doing all that, I would kind of feel like if I started working at like noon or something,
you're
then
behind.
I only have a few hours to get like hard work in my studio before the kids come home, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. How old's your oldest?
But he's 17, and then I
17.
have 14 and 12, and I know I'm making excuses. I just need
No,
to get
you're-
my shit together and
no,
do. They're not babies.
No, I mean I totally understand. I 3 kids.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot. I mean, I got 2 kids. They're 9 and 11, and like my 11-year-old's kind of getting to that age to where he thinks he knows more than me. I don't know shit, and it's like, come on, dude, like you're killing me. Like I know what the hell I'm talking about. The other day I had to tell him, I was like, listen, dude, I'm 32 with a goddamn master's degree. Like I know what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, are you like? So you're an avid are you an avid podcast listener or like what?
Yeah, so since I'm in here all day, like, I mean, I don't have a TV or anything, so I do listen to music,
Okay.
and I'm a huge music fan, who isn't, but it does get kind of old to just be, like, constantly hearing, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, just blah.
I try to mix it up between music
Yeah, I
and
need, like,
podcasts or
some
books.
like, intellectual stimulation sometimes, and so I'll turn on a podcast. I like Ed Milet's, Tony Robbins, and just kind of, like, get my mind on it. Ooh, and Gary Vee. Like,
Oh,
I
Gary's
can
cool.
almost always get something, like, just, like, I wouldn't even think I was paying attention. I'm working on something, and I can hear it
Yeah.
in the background, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, ooh, I should do this. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, like, very inspiring
Yeah.
from, like, almost like an abstract way.
Yeah.
Because he really is just, like, blabbering with random
all
people,
the time.
but you'll just like pick up on things that are very like
Yeah.
fruitful.
He documents literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching a video of his and he was talking about like the opportunity with LinkedIn. How because everybody's always talking about like the algorithm and how much,
Yeah.
but he's like it's like free range on LinkedIn right now. Like you post something and everybody sees it.
Yes,
It's like a good
and
opportunity.
the paid ads as far as LinkedIn, he said that you can literally target like the title of someone's,
Yeah.
like a CEO of this in this geography. He's like, it doesn't get any better than that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity. Are you on LinkedIn? Do you get
Yeah.
commissions and stuff through there?
It's kind of weird because like as an artist on LinkedIn, like the posts that I make are not really like businessy or professional in
Yeah.
that LinkedIn sense. I just post like pictures of what I'm working on because
Yeah.
I don't have time to like generate content that is specific for each like social media. And I know you're supposed to do that,
Yeah.
but like it's good enough for me to make like a post a day and then just blast it on everything.
Yeah.
Because
You gotta
I'm
hire
just a
somebody for
one-man
that.
show.
Yeah, you have to hire somebody to do
Yeah.
all that nonsense. It's so crazy, like how I don't really like social media, but it's just like such an important, like good and bad to everything, right? Pluses and
Yeah.
minuses. It's cool because we get to connect with so many people. I find like that's the best thing. If you do use it in the right way, you can connect with so many cool ass people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like I found you through Instagram because of that 75 hard piece. I'm just like, damn, like this is so cool.
Yeah.
And then I just started checking out all of your other pieces. Like I'm just like a huge fan of like all your work.
That single element of my like career, being connected with Andy
Oh yeah.
in that way, has brought me like the most amazing opportunities and relationships. Like I remember, like I said, I'm competitive, so I remember when I came across, like I realized that I was friends with all of his friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I grew my network at the beginning, is I would just add and accept people that had mutual friends and looked like decent people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I grew it that way, and then I just saw people talking about First Form all the time, and it was like I was in that bubble but didn't know.
Right.
And then I saw Andy's name, and I'm like, oh, that's the cool guy at the top of this group. I want to be his friend. And of course, he didn't see my friend request or accept it or whatever, which is fine. He probably gets blown up all the time, you know?
Yeah.
But my competitive nature and wanting to network with people who are where you want to be, or who
Yeah.
are bigger than where you are, and you're kind of like motivated and inspired by that.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be that dude's friend. And it kind of forced me to like be creative about it. I'm like, how could I get his attention? And I'm not like a stalker or anything, but I'm like, I can do this.
Right.
And I was like, I'll make a picture of him. And it took me a while to figure out, like, oh, I'll use his First Form container.
That was so clever.
And I mean, it's funny because I look at them and I see beauty. They have like this rainbowy shimmer to them, and I'm like, that would be like the background, and I can make the picture of him out of them, like flipped around and paint them, and
Yeah.
and I did it, and and someone tagged him, and he was like, word for word, he said, that's the most baddest ass thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like from there, he started following me, and now he's my biggest collector.
That is so dope.
It's just like this little success story, and I don't even think he knows that.
Yeah.
But that's how it happened, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for him. Like, he is really, really good to me and my business, and it helps my family in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I think that story highlights your point of how we need each other, right? I mean, because just that one connection connects you with all these other people, and that is essentially, I mean, what's like, that's the rocket fuel for your business. Yeah.
And now people see that, and they think I'm part of the PH family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And I am. I feel like I am.
You're in the network for sure. You're definitely a part of the family.
But I made it into existence. It didn't just, it
Yeah.
wasn't there before. And I kind of at least created the opportunity, and I'm really grateful for it.
Right. Well, you made a decision, right? Like you had a goal, and then you just acted on it. It's literally that simple. I think people feel like, I mean, obviously, it's always simple in like theory and in execution. It's not as easy, but like whatever the success is for you, it doesn't have to be that difficult.
Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's like just pick a goal and fucking take steps towards it.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not going to come to you. You got to keep plugging away somehow. So.
Right. I mean, you just started drawing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any business mentors? Did I ask you that? I think I asked you about art mentors, but do you have like any business mentors?
I mean, I definitely look up to Ed Milet. I really love Gary and Tony Robbins for like a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of my experience and stuff from being at the Yellow Pages
Okay.
and all of that.
Just being
But
in that corporate
yeah.
world. You do get a lot of good lessons from that. I
Mhm.
mean, just kind of being in that space. I mean, business is still being operated.
I'm very institutionalized from it. Like I literally wake up, like when the kids get up to go to school, and I don't have to do that. I could sleep in or whatever, but I get up, get my cup of coffee, and I come out here and just start working. And
So that's your routine. You get up, coffee, straight to work.
people don't understand how they're like, how do you make all this stuff so fast? So I'm like, 'cause I bust my ass.
Like every day.
Yeah, like just 'cause I work from home doesn't mean,
Right. Yeah, I always like to say work is a thing you get to do, not a place you have to go. Because oftentimes, when you are kind of like institutionalized like that, you always associate work with the office I have to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man. Like
No.
work can be. I just went to this event, or I just had dinner with a potential client, or you're in your studio, at your house working on a piece. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be this. Go to this four walls and like sit at this desk and you know what I mean, clock in. Like
Definitely.
it's just the pursuit.
Yep.
That is the work. It's exciting shit. Are you reading anything right now?
No.
No.
I was with 75 Hard. That was the most rewarding thing for me because I do get a lot out of it. I just
That was my biggest challenge.
don't
Was the
make
reading.
time unless
Yeah.
I'm. And I even have them on my nightstand. I see them every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a whole
But I
stack
choose
of
Netflix.
books. What are you watching right now? Are you watching anything?
I
right
started Grey's Anatomy. I'm like the last person on earth to see that show.
now? It's a good show. It's a long one though. How many seasons are there of that?
There was 15 and I'm on 2.
Oh shit! I look at TV shows or any of that. It's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like I have to like mentally like whether it's 75 Hard or it's Scandal. My girlfriend and I we just finished Scandal. I'm just like this is like a 6 or 7 season commitment. Like how many hours am I? I start calculating the amount of hours I'm about to spend watching this.
I know you're
like,
making me want to get my shit together.
I'm just like fuck. I just committed 100 hours to this. Like, I've already started. I'm so weird. Once I start, I can't stop.
I'm the same way.
I cannot fucking stop.
My husband falls asleep during movies, and I'm like, "Don't you want to know what happens?" Like I could never.
I'm just like, we'll be like on season 5 or 6. I'm like, I'm just ready for this to be done. The next episode. Let's go to the next one. We got to be finished. But I just got to finish.
Yeah.
It's almost like a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's unfinished business. It makes you feel like something's not right.
Yeah, I had to quit playing video games for that reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, because then once you start, you just got to fucking finish. And are your kids gamers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever get on the games?
No.
No.
I don't want to begin an addiction.
Did you ever game growing up?
Like just Mario. You
Yeah,
know?
like classic Nintendo stuff. Yeah, I've done a lot of like man, growing up was a lot of gaming, but it's too much of a time commitment.
It's my son is 17 and he on his Christmas list he's asking for all these video game things and I'm like, honey, you're about to graduate and you're gonna have to work full time next year. Like shit's gonna change.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm never gonna stop playing video games. Not to embarrass him, but
that's fine. I know
some people are just that way.
I know a lot of people who don't quit playing video
Yeah.
games. It's just a part of like I don't know, instead of going to the bar and having a drink, they just play some video games.
And I can't complain. I mean, he's a homebody. There's worse out there,
Could be way worse.
Yeah.
I'd rather you be at home playing video games than
Yeah.
like in those streets.
Yeah, it's not that bad. So.
Crazy shit happening out there.
Yep.
Man, so you're not a gamer, huh? That's cool though. Where are we at? Oh shit, we're at an hour. Well, Lindsay, we're gonna wrap this up. I really appreciate you taking this time. I want to leave the floor to you. Tell the folks how they can check you out. We already mentioned the Instagram handle, right? STL Artist.
Yes.
Your website, because you have like merchandise on there,
Oh, yeah,
and
so
you have prints and all this good stuff that they can check out.
Yeah, my website is lindsaywanner.com, and I have my originals that are available on there, and I have some merchandise and prints and stuff like that. So
Anything exciting that the folks should be looking for? Like I know you had the big show not that long ago, right?
yeah, my first art show.
Right. Do you have any other art shows coming up, or?
I'm definitely gonna do one a year. I feel like I just planned a wedding for that one. It was a lot,
Was
and
it?
I mean it was worth it. It was a huge success. And
How long did it take you to plan it?
it was a year in the making for
Oh,
sure.
really? Like a
Yeah.
whole year
Like,
leading
I
up to
mean,
it?
I had like sponsors, I had catering, I had performers. It was like, it wasn't just like you walk in and see art and
You just
leave. I
kind of
wanted
walk around.
people to like
Yeah.
stay, you know?
Yeah.
And First Form sponsored it. It was
That's super
amazing.
dope. Yeah.
So,
Is it the Kazan factory? I don't.
Koken
Koken.
Factory.
Yeah. I've actually fought down there before. It's a really big space.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they have a jujitsu in the basement or something
Maybe
like.
it was in the basement. Yeah, I don't know. It was like some. This was probably like 5 years ago. It was like my gym versus like another local gym, and like the owners are friends, so they kind of did like a inner gym little fundraiser thing.
Okay.
And yeah, maybe it was in the basement. I don't. I just remember it was kind of like it felt like Fight Club.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's kind of like an old city building.
right, exactly. And it was just super open. I'm like, man, it's super cool down here. I actually
Yeah.
got sick from the cold air. I don't know, but
Oh,
either way,
wow.
really cool space though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it turned out great. I couldn't have been happier with that. But yeah, people were already asking at the show, when's the next
When's
one?
the
And I'm
next
like,
one?
don't do this to me.
You're like, I just finished this one. Was it like an
I
emotional
took my
roller
shoes
coaster?
off. I had my feet up. I'm like, we'll talk later.
Yeah, I can only imagine like the emotional roller coaster of trying to like plan that and like did you put pressure on yourself?
Well, the fact that it was just a solo show
Yeah,
and
like no other
it
artist.
was my name on it.
Yeah.
And so people were walking in and I kind of like realized pretty quickly, I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I'm the person of the hour. And it's
You
weird
were.
because I hate talking about myself. It was just uncomfortable. I feel really weird with small talk. I'm awkward.
I'm awkward too.
But
It's okay.
but I mean, I got through it. And yeah, it was a success. What was your original question?
I think you kind of answered it. We were just talking about it.
Oh yeah,
how
my
yeah.
website and yeah.
Oh well, yeah, that was your original question. I was gonna bring you back to that, but
Yeah.
no, yeah. I was still. Are you next year? You think you'll have one, or
Yeah,
you're
if you're on my email list on my website, I'll be announcing that.
cool? So
obviously.
go to the website, and that is,
LindsayWanner.com.
and they can get on the mailing list.
Yep. And then you'll be up to date on what shows I have coming up.
Are you on Twitter as well, or is the gram the best way?
I'm on Twitter, but it's so embarrassing. I think I have like 1,000 followers or something. I can't figure Twitter out. I don't know.
1,000's legit.
I don't know.
I have like 10.
I think it's bad. I don't get it. I just feel like I'm yelling into like an empty room, like when I tweet.
Yeah.
No one sees it.
Yeah, I don't really know how that. I mostly post to Twitter through Instagram, but I know when you do that, nobody sees that.
Yeah, it's
shit
just a link, and
yeah,
no one does that.
Nobody sees that anyway. So then, like, I've been posting in there manually, but then to your point, it's like just yelling in an open room, like an empty room. Who's there? Nobody cares.
I think you have to be just like some huge celebrity for it to really be cool. So
Yeah, or just like tweet at a huge celebrity and hope that they like tweet
Yeah.
back at you. I think that's the strategy. You just have to tweet at people and hope they get back to you.
then the people that are following me will be like, "Girl, if you don't,
I
you're pathetic."
don't know what Lindsay's doing. It's 3 a.m. and she's drinking wine, tweeting at
The Rock.
at the Rock, trying to get him to commission a piece. Jesus Christ,
Oh my god.
it's hard out here.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is there anything else that people need to know about? Any other places they should check you out?
No, not really.
That's it.
I like Instagram. That's my place.
That's the jam. I like Instagram a lot too. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for doing this. I
Thank
appreciate you. You
you.
dealt with all the awkwardness and all my weirdness. You're the best.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks again.
I appreciate it.
Everybody, until next time.